Good morning, folks. How is everyone doing? Well, I guess I shouldn't say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. There's a lot of time zones in the world. It is a pleasure to be here this morning, North Carolina time with all of you. I think it's about 9:02, so I feel pretty comfortable going ahead and getting this show rolling. This is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, so I'm eager. Um, if we can start with introductions from the staff, we will not put y'all on the spot. My name is Mitch Mosty. I am the Assistant Director of Admissions for our MPP program, our Masters in Public Policy program. I'm also a Durham native, so doing this presentation is very exciting for me. It basically means I get to talk about home and why I love my home so much. I would also like to introduce Miss Olivia Anderson. Olivia, I will let you speak for yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm very excited to be here today. My name is Olivia Anderson, and I'm the Director of MIDP Admissions. While I am not a Durhamite, I did go to Duke as an undergrad, so I'm very familiar with the position of saying, hey, where exactly is Durham, North Carolina? And then coming out here and realizing it's a pretty awesome place. So hopefully you guys enjoy this, get to know it a little bit better, and then, of course, we will have plenty of time for discussion and Q&A at the end.
Olivia, I actually really like the kind of like, where is Durham? I feel like that'd be like a good tagline for the city, actually. They should you should consider like selling that to them. Um, well, we're gonna dive right on in on the question of where is Durham, North Carolina? So actually, that is pretty easily answered by a map. So Durham, North Carolina, where Duke University is located, is in the middle of the East Coast of the US, which in our opinions basically means we are positioned very centrally to a lot of our major metropolitan neighbors. So we are a 1 hour flight from DC is actually a little inaccurate. I have been on flights to DC where the time in the air is about 43 minutes, which is excellent. We are a 1.5 hour flight from Atlanta down in Georgia, a 2 hour flight from New York City, Boston, and Miami, and a 2.5 hour flight to Chicago. So we are located very, very, very centrally on the East Coast by air to a lot of major areas. It's actually part of what enables us as a university to be so successful, both Duke University and then the Sanford School. Our central location on the East Coast means that we are not far from any of the major urban areas on the East Coast of the US. Moving to the state level, Durham is also located in the middle of the state of North Carolina. Durham is what's part of, we call it RTP, the Research Triangle Park, and that consists of Raleigh, the capital, Durham, and Chapel Hill. And we are in what's known as the Piedmont of North Carolina, right in the heart of the state. That is kind of a very convenient location for us because not only is the Piedmont beautiful rolling green hills, we are also about 2 hours from the mountains of North Carolina, the Appalachians, which are very, very beautiful and very, very accessible. And we are about 2 hours from the coast of North Carolina, which is also a notoriously, I guess that's kind of a negative adjective, but I'll use it, notoriously beautiful part of the country. If folks think that these are fake photos, feel free to Google North Carolina mountains or North Carolina coast. It is genuinely stunning. The region I was describing earlier, RTP, is intentionally housed between the three major universities here in the triangle. So Duke in Durham is one of the corners. The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is another of the corners. And then North Carolina State is the final corner of the triangle. And essentially what the Research Triangle area is this development space nestled between the three universities. It was intentionally designed that basically a lot of entities, both public and private, a lot of corporations, a lot of research institutes, have secondary headquarters in this area because they know that there is always a constant stream of talented, educated graduates, researchers, postdocs in the area. So I think there's the movie A Field of Dreams, like if you build it, they will come. That's kind of how this area worked. We have these three phenomenal universities, all very close together, and a bunch of research entities and corporations basically realize like we can just go to where the students are, and we will just have a constant flood of talent and educated people who would like to work with us. So it works out very, very, very well. So a little bit about Durham specifically, because that is where Duke is housed. So Durham is a mid-sized city of a little bit under 300,000 people. This entire area, including Durham, has one of the highest number of PhDs per capita in the country. It's actually a little wild to go grocery shopping, to walk around the area, and just to see on the back of people's cars bumper stickers with like their university affiliation, to see like shirts that folks are sporting, because even though like Duke is the big university here in Durham where a lot of folks do secondary education or work. We have folks from all over the country and all over the world coming here to be a part of this community. And that is reflected just being in this mid-sized town. And again, people from all over the world and all over the country live here. Our local NPR station is WUNC. And I remember a few years ago, before COVID, actually, before the pandemic, I think it would have been in 2019, WUNC shared a statistic that 51% of North Carolina's population was not born in North Carolina. Folks were born in other states or outside of the country and have moved to this area. So it makes it a very like vibrant, thriving area. And I know the 284,000 one, it's like, is that a mid-sized city? That is technically a mid-sized city. But again, Durham works in very close collaboration with our neighboring cities of Raleigh and Chapel Hill. So the actual entire triangle area, the entire RTP area, houses about 2.37 million people. So basically, Durham, mid-sized city, but the greater area that acts as a whole is a little bit under 2.5 million, which is a pretty good size. But to be a mid-sized city, we always say that Durham hits above its weight class in terms of like food, culture, arts. The city has a lot to offer. I will start with something near and dear to my heart, which is Durham's food scene. So Durham has been named the tastiest town in the South and America's foodiest small town. Durham houses numerous James Beard nominees and award winners. I don't know if folks know what the James Beard Awards are, but you can kind of think of them as like the Oscars of food. They're not like a Michelin star, where obviously Michelin stars are reserved for like fine dining and high dining experiences. The James Beard are kind of like indie food awards, like where are chefs just doing like interesting creative things at all different levels. And Durham has just a ton of nominees. We've got really, really, really good food. Um, and those options again range across all different kind of cuisines, levels of formalness, costs. I know for me, like being in this area, folks will always ask, like, "Oh, like you're from Durham. What's your favorite restaurant?" My favorite restaurant in Durham is actually like a super, super small Vietnamese restaurant on 9th Street, which is a street nestled right in between Duke's East and West campus. The restaurant is called Bonds. It is family owned. It seats literally 15 people. It was cash only up until the pandemic. And quite frankly, I describe eating at Bonds as a religious experience, both because the food is amazing and like you are squeezed in there with 14 of your new best friends enjoying the food. Um, Olivia, I don't want to put you on the spot, but like both as like a former Duke undergrad and like now like a Durhamite living here, like what's what's like your go-to restaurant here, or what are your go-to restaurants? I don't want to limit you to one.
Sure. So I have to bring up kind of a small place, Monuts. It's great for breakfast, brunchy type food. It has fantastic bagels and donuts, and eggs. And I really love the format of kind of having almost a communal style inside, lots of different tables outside as well. Some really great memories as a student and now as a staff member at Duke. Um, people just come in from all sorts of places after the markets on Saturday or the students themselves. It's a really mixed crowd, and I think that's a fun place to kind of hang out.
Olivia, have you done their Turkish eggs, the ones that are like on the ciabatta with like the za'atar on it?
No, I haven't. Is it worth
There,
it?
it's so good. It's so good. And then I
Okay.
always say that like Monuts, in my opinion, has the best like cake donuts in Durham. Like I feel like
Yes.
there are donuts that are like they're like Earl Grey tea cake or they're like
Hmm.
blueberry lemon donut. Like I feel like Monuts has the best cake donuts. I feel
I
like
would
my
agree.
favorite like yeast donuts are like Early Bird near us on Irwin, but like if
Yes.
I'm cr
Great
so good,
choice.
so good.
Fantastic.
Actually, there's a fun fact that's not part of the presentation, but we also have numerous donuts places, and they're really good.
You can't go
Um,
wrong. Who doesn't love donuts?
well, and we do have like coffee culture is really big in Durham.
Yes.
There's a lot of cafes here. Coco Cinnamon is a really big one. Oak House, Yonder, which is near my apartment, Ninth Street Bakery. Like and some of that is both just an appreciation for cafe culture. I'm not gonna compare Durham to like a European city. There's parts of it that are like a European city, but like you will see folks just hanging out at cafes, sometimes students doing work, more often than not, students all getting together, pretending to work, but actually just kind of decompressing with each other, or just locals taking it easy, kind of sitting out on the sidewalk, taking in the scenes. So like that's a big part of Durham culture here, which I really appreciate.
Me too.
Um, we also have a thriving arts and sports culture. I feel like I kind of did this backwards as like the Duke rep. So I guess I should start with the as the Duke representative, I guess I should start with like the sports culture here. I did graduate from the other university down the road, so like the reason I'm really enthusiastic about the Duke UNC rivalry is because I'm a diehard Tar Heel. I will not speak for Miss Anderson where her loyalties lie, though you see which shirt she is wearing right now.
Always.
Um, but obviously here at Duke, like basketball is huge, soccer's huge, football's getting bigger, and that's just at the college level. Durham also houses the Durham Bulls, which is our minor league baseball team. It's a big part of Durham's culture and community. The Bull Stadium is literally in the heart of the city. And as a minor league team, what's really fun about the Bulls is that they are good. They are the team that like seed to like the I think the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So they're good, but because it's a minor league team, it's not expensive to go to a Bulls game. Like a Bulls game ticket is like $15 and you just go and you hang out with friends and watch a bunch of baseball and take it easy. So like that's kind of a really big go-to spring, summer activity here in Durham. Um, we also have Olivia, have you been to any of the Carolina Courage games out in Raleigh? Or I guess Cary in the athletic park?
Absolutely. I actually have a high school friend on the team. So yeah,
Are you
definitely.
serious?
Yeah, they're
Um,
great.
so the Carolina Courage is our professional women's soccer team. This whole area of the Triangle is famous for female soccer. Again, UNC Chapel Hill is where Mia Hamm played. And then that has continued on a legacy of like UNC Chapel Hill having a very strong female soccer team. But then a lot of the folks that play soccer at UNC actually like settle down in the area and stay here. So like the Carolina Courage is like really good. Like a good number of the Courage players go on to play like on the female team in the Olympics every like summer, or not every summer, but every summer Olympics. So again, it's kind of a wild experience just to get to go watch Olympic level soccer players just, 20 minutes away from here. And that's like the Courage games are amazing. Um, Great music scene. You've got entities like Motorco, Duke's Baldwin Auditorium, Pinhook here in Durham, which like Motorco and Ruby's do a lot of like indie music, Pinhook as well. Baldwin is Duke's like music auditorium, so you get a lot of classical music, a lot of plays. You've got things like Cat's Cradle in Chapel Hill or the Lincoln Theater in Raleigh. Like there's a good a good music scene. One of my students from a few years ago, who's from LA, she actually, and I don't think she was saying this just like make me feel better and brag about Durham. She was saying that she enjoyed the music scene more here in Durham than in LA, just because here it was so much more accessible. Like we didn't get all of the big name acts the same way. Though we do have a big arena in Raleigh that like all the big concerts come through. But there's just my student Natalie was saying that there's always some act going on the weeks and on the weekends, and you can just drop in and watch them. They're accessible, they're not expensive. So she was saying she actually really loved the live music scene here. And then DPAC, the Durham Performing Arts Center, is a theater here in the heart of Durham that does a ton of off-Broadway plays, a ton of comedians. They'll do like commentaries. Like I think it was just last week, like Kamala Harris was doing on her book tour. She was at DPAC for like that portion of her tour. A lot of like the big podcasts come through here, like Pod Save America, Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. So there's constantly something going on in this city. And then nature and green spaces. So Duke is sometimes referred to as the university in the forest. That picture kind of there, like in the lower right quadrant, is not Photoshop. That is a picture of Duke from the air. This part of North Carolina is just heavily, heavily, heavily forested, verdant. It's kind of what makes this area so special. There are so many state parks here in Durham and in the Triangle. There's the Eno State Park, the Umstead Park. The Albular Trail is this great forested walking trail that is literally connected to Duke's campus. There's Duke Forest, which is again like it abuts the university. If you like a little bit more of a curated form of nature, Duke's Botanical Gardens, the Therapy Duke Gardens, are just cartoonishly beautiful and again are connected to campus. So a lot of our students will go there to study or play frisbee or just quite frankly walk around and like take in all the green space. So one of my students introduced me to this concept of like I think it was called like forest washing recently, where it's just the act of like being around nature and letting it kind of like ease all the things in your noggin. Um, and really like all of Durham looks this way. Like it's funny, like like we'll have shopping centers and stuff, but like the entire area is just like so forested. I know like for me, I like to get out and hike on the weekends. Olivia, I never have actually asked this. Are you a big outdoorsy person?
Absolutely. Yes, I love, love, love all the parks around here and all the trails. And some of them are, when Mitch is saying Albular, that is in our backyard. It is a 5-minute walk from campus. And it's over a mile trail in the forest. So you can really disconnect very quickly.
Yeah, no. A lot of our I know our run club, the student run club actually runs the albular a lot. Like that's like one of their go-to spaces. So it's right here. And then there is campus. So uh Duke is like routinely ranked one of the top 10 most beautiful campuses in the United States. It's got big Harry Potter vibes. I mean, it just does. Like it's neo-Gothic architecture. You have the chapel. Most of the buildings look like a castle, or are an interesting modern take on a castle. If anyone's like Googled the Sanford building, like it looks like a castle, but not an old castle, which is fun. Um, Campus, in addition to being beautiful, is also designed to house and support our students to serve as a resource for them. So there's just so much on campus. There's dining halls and libraries, obviously, that's part of the student experience, but also like there's an amazing wellness center on campus. There's a pharmacy on campus. Because Duke is also a sports school, like the gyms are really, really, really good and state of the art. As students, like our students have access to all the gyms on campus. And actually, Sanford is located right next to athletics. So, actually, Olivia, I think the only folks that might actually have closer access to like Wilson and stuff might be the students that are in those dorms facing them. But like otherwise, like we're only like what, like a maybe 2-minute walk from like
Three
athletics?
tops.
Three
Definitely.
tops,
Yep.
which is fun. And like the pictures we chose are just to illustrate like the campus is beautiful during like all seasons. Even winter here is very pretty. As a southerner, I don't love winter. I actually really like that in North Carolina we might get like 1 or 2 snows a year, and then usually it melts in like 2 days because like it'll go from like snowy temperatures to like 60 degrees in 2 days, and all the snow's gone, and it's great. I love it. Um, in terms of where students live around campus, so having just talked about campus, I actually will say that Sometimes folks ask as graduate students if there are housing options on campus for graduate students. Um, Yes, with an asterisk. They are very, 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 very limited. Undergraduate students are prioritized for housing on campus. As grad students, your campus options are either to serve as a resident hall advisor, where you are also working for Duke and living on campus as an RA. Duke does also have housing for graduate students at a location called 301 Swift, which is a kind of an apartment turned dorm right on the edge of West Campus, in which grad students are allowed to apply for. It's just competitive. Duke also has, I guess I'll use the phrase mass leased, mass let. Duke has signed a gigantic lease with this apartment complex called Lancaster, which is an apartment that is very close to Duke's West Campus, and it's connected by a Duke bus. And that is actually housing that is prioritized for international graduate students. Basically, Duke recognizes that if you are an international student, it can be a little tricky to like navigate signing a lease here in the States. So they basically went and like signed all the leases in this apartment complex and were like, we will sublet to our students. So there are also options for international students that are handled by Duke, but again, they are competitive just because in a really, really wonderful way, we have a ton of international students here at Duke, and we only have like the one apartment building. So there's high demand. The good news is Durham has a ton of student housing throughout Durham. So a lot of our students live in apartments in the area or rental homes. Um, Durham, on average, is just not as expensive as a lot of other parts of the country. Our rent is around our rent. So think of this as like literally like what you are paying to like the apartment complex or the landlord. Like our rent is about $1,400 per month. And that's about 16% below average for like the country. Um, there are obviously places that are above that 1400. There are places that are below the 1400. We always tell our students like you kind of have to make the decision that's best for you. Like if you want to live alone because that's just what best supports your living style and learning style, amazing. That does mean you're going to be responsible for rent by yourself. So maybe you want to look at options that are a little bit lower in price point. If you are partnered up or if you are willing to have a roommate, that makes this area incredibly affordable. Just because like two-bedroom apartments are not much more expensive than one-bedroom apartments. I'm a big fan of roommates in general. One, it's nice to split the cost of rent and the cost of utilities. Two, as human beings, we are pro-social creatures, and it's nice to have another human being to like interact with and cook dinner with, and just I'm a big fan of roommate. I know, Olivia, I'll talk about for MPP students first, and then I'll defer to your expertise for MIDP students. I know for MPP students, a lot of my students room with each other. Like a lot of folks basically get to know each other during the admissions process and over the summer. I mean, I think easily, easily more than half my students are like rooming with each other. Just because, again, it keeps the cost down, but also it's nice to live with someone who like knows what you're wow, this is going to sound so grim, knows what you're going through. The idea like they know your schedule, they know the demands of the program. A lot of my students just end up having a lot of like silent study sessions together because they're working on similar assignments. Olivia, to your knowledge, I got muted somehow. Olivia, is that a similar case for MIDP students to your knowledge?
Absolutely. From anecdotal comments, yes, there is quite a bit of rooming together. And a lot of that for the MIDP side of things, we have a lot of international students enroll in the program, so it's even more helpful to select someone who's also coming from a different part of the world. So there's a little bit more of an adjustment period, and having someone there to help you through that is really helpful.
Sweet. And then I kind of wanted to show like where some of the big neighborhoods are that our students live in. So like with this map, the two darker blue spots, appropriately, are Duke's East and West Campus. West Campus is where Sanford is located. It's where almost all of your classes will occur at. It's what folks think of as like main Duke. It's where the chapel is. East Campus is where most of our first year students live, but there's a few classes over there. But the areas highlighted around it are like the predominant areas our students live in. So like the Irwin area, the Ninth Street area, downtown North Durham, University Drive, like this whole area is just infused with apartments and houses. There's neighborhoods in here. So like most of our students live, I mean, I'd say most of our students definitely live within like a 15-minute drive of Duke's campus. But I'd even go so far as to say like a good chunk of our students live within a 15-minute walk of Sanford. And that actually is a very nice transition into transportation. So as a small city, like, or I guess again, I said earlier, a mid-sized city, like Durham isn't big enough to have a metro or a subway. But what we do have is a really great Durham bus system. There's a whole triangle system called like Go Triangle, and then the Durham portion is called Go Durham that hits all the major areas. And good news, Duke is a major area. Duke's buses are also super, super, super robust. Like the university has a pretty broad sweep in the greater Duke area. And as you saw from the previous map, I'm gonna double back, a lot of students live in the greater Duke area. So a lot of students are able to make use of definitely the Durham buses, but also like the Duke buses to cater to their needs. Duke also has a van system, which has a really wide swath of area around the university. And the vans are meant to like help students out throughout the day, but especially during like off hours. If folks need like a lift from campus to their apartment in like the evening or like in the winter when it gets dark earlier, a lot of students use the Duke van system. And then just quite frankly, like this area is very, very, very walkable, like immediately around Duke. If you get outside of the greater Duke area, like you really are back to like private vehicle mode. But like around the university and through downtown Durham, like there's just a ton of like sidewalks and biking trails. Olivia, I don't want to put you on the spot, but I feel like don't like you walk to work a lot, don't you?
Absolutely. It is very easy to walk and even quicker to bike. And I enjoy doing both.
Because I was gonna say, like, you walk. Dean Storelli bikes in all the time. Our previous dean, Judith Kelly, biked all the time. Like, just it's a normal thing here. And then just to give you an idea about kind of like the expansiveness, like I wanted to give a quick image of like the campus routes that go, all around the greater Duke area, and then like the Duke van system to give you an idea of like kind of the sweep that the Duke vans service for students. Um, and I think that's probably realistically enough of me talking. I think we're gonna move into a question section next. We've been recording this for folks who aren't able to join us, but I think we'll basically like turn off the recording.